Today we're here with Sean. He got top 128 right at NATS with Carrot. Pretty impressive. Not a deck that you would expect with most. He's gonna show us our deck, his deck profile. Just talk about it before we start. You have any shoutouts?
Yeah, real quick, I think my crew in the West LA region, Film, Fu, Jugons, we play in Culver City, most times Crossing, sometimes RWT. It's a really good spot, so definitely encourage people for LA to come visit and play.
Yeah. And then for those of you guys who don't know, Carrot's leader effect is if she has a Minx card, she can rest one of her opponent's characters with 5 or less. So go ahead.
Alright, so we'll start with the 1 drops. 2 Wanda. Surprising, I guess people might wonder why I only run less than 4 searchers. Wanda is actually quite bricky if you want to run the better cards in green. So I actually have about 22, 23 Mink cards in my deck. So I also don't really want to mull for this specifically anyways.
Yeah.
So, but it's a good card. It activates your leader ability. If you guys don't know, the leader itself, activate main. I have to have a Mink on board, but when I do, I can do it once per turn, rest a 5 cost opponent's character. So very good, as long as you have some kind of Mink, even a chump blocker or a 1 cost searcher, you're good to go. So, alright. Next card, another searcher. This is actually way more important than the Wanda searcher in my opinion. This is Carrot, it's a 2K. It searches top 7 for Zoe, your stage. Might as well pull out Zoe at this point. So for Zoe. This stage is kind of your engine. It's like a little mini Cavendish without a body. But ideally you're playing it on your 3 dawn, 4 dawn turn. And if you don't have it in hand, the best time to play Carrot is actually on your 5 or 6 dawn turn. I think if you guys ever want to try this deck out, 5, 6 dawn turn, you have way more hits, success rate, searching top 7 for a Zoe card. And ideally what would happen is play Searcher, I play some Chomp Blocker, or I play Zoe, and if in case I don't have Zoe, I will play out a Carrot to search top 7. And, oh, my bad.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Alright, so next 2 drops. So Chump Blockers. These are the promo Carrots. Pretty vanilla in terms of blockers. There's no special effect here, but the fact that it's a Mink type is very important because ideally, in most matchups in this set, I really like going second, and placing this on 2 dawn is really, really important so that my leader effect is pretty much active. Yeah. And we got a little cheeky Capone Beige. This guy is more of a cycle tool. There's often times when you have Zoe and you're, on your 8 or 9 dawn turn, you can play a chump blocker like this guy, and then by that time, you probably will be able to activate its ability to draw 1, trash 1. Yeah. In some situations, if you've had a bunch of searchers here too, you can play around and even activate it on your 4 dawn turn, but it's a little bit harder to do that. Milky's very underrated, I think. I think if you play this deck, you want to actually play them out no matter what. Your 2 dawn turn, just play it out. If it's 6, it's 6. Only use the ability really when you need to play, something like a Carrot and a Tashigi at the same time. It kind of opens you up for the lines that Bonnie and Smoker would have, where you can play a Tashigi and a Carrot, for example, on your 6 dawn turn. And then 2 Rosinante. I think this is a good pick over my Wandas, and that's the reason why I replaced my 2 Wandas for 2 more Chump Blockers. Chump Blockers are really good, specifically for Zoro, I feel. And also, these ones are really good for resting, right? So I'll show my top end in a bit, but I run a lot of Kid, and Kid with Rosinante is one of the best kind of combos you can get for a Chump Blocker Fortress situation.
Yeah.
And then Bartos. This is another 3-trop. I wouldn't say it's a Chump Blocker, but since I run Kid, it's usually free to play it out. Even early on, if I don't have the best turns, say I don't have Zoe, I mull for Zoe and I didn't find Zoe, oftentimes I'll have like a really cheap Mink already on board, and when I play Barto, I'm already using leader ability, draw 1, trash 1. With Milky too, you can rest, draw 1, trash 1.
It's kind of broken too with your leader effect. If you have a Minx, you can rest any card on their board and cycle, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So honestly, this is better than 5-drop Bonnie in my situation, because often at times I just have enough Dawn to play this out early.
Yep.
And because it's not like only one time use, right?
Yeah.
If you have a Barto in the early game, you can cycle like 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole game. Even better if you have 2, for whatever reason. And then for 2Ks, these guys are good in some matches, right? I would never run this into like Zoro, for example, or GP, but these are really good into Blackbeard. It helped me win my Blackbeard matchup at NATS, and I was able to essentially do what I said, 2 double Milky, even without Zoe, to play out my Carrot and Tashigi the same turn, which makes it really tough for Teach to deal with, you know. Pedro's. Okay, so another Mink. 4 drops, these guys, really good on KO ability if they choose to interact with him. You know, basically when you KO him, you have the option to either rest the Dawn, which is pretty critical in some Luffy games, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they also are not expecting that ability and they forget.
Yeah.
So it's something to always keep in mind, that you can rest the Dawn, and that Dawn might be allocated towards a Gum Gum Giant, for example.
For sure.
I would say the other ability is also pretty decent into Zoro, where you just KO a dude.
Yeah.
Probably most likely a Tashigi.
Yeah.
And I like this card. It isn't my favorite Mink, because this is my favorite Mink by far.
Yeah, broken.
Carrots are really good in this meta, right? Like I think Rayleighs are less concerned about the Cavendishes over the Carrot.
Yeah.
And I figure similar to me, right? I have a favorable matchup into Rayleigh, and my guys are searchable at least. And I have the ability to
rest their units.
Rest units before I get to even play this on play.
Yeah.
So super important. I would, always be 4 off. Still the best Minx card, which is a little sad it's a 5-drop, but Jewelry Bonnie, this is my only new card, honestly, in the new set. And I do think it is really good as like Plan B, I would say. Plan B in some situations, right? You might have some chump blockers, you play them out, then you restand with Zoe, and then you play this out, then you're cycling, drawing 2, trashing 1. So pretty decent. Obviously, I want to slam Carrot all the time, 5-6 on turn.
Yeah.
But this card's not bad. And in situations where, for whatever reason, I didn't reach my blocker count, because ideally I want like 2 blockers with my kit.
Yeah.
This is at least a decent play to cycle things out, get some counter, and go from there. This card is more for my UP matchup and potentially any yellow, but really for the UP matchup. So Smoker is essentially a really high roll situation for Carrot, where if you got to go second, you slam down Milky, then you slam down Zoe, and then you get that with Smoker, and now you're basically Smoker. You have 1, 2, 3, and then because of Zoe, you're always re-standing this back up, so it's not hard to pop,
Yeah.
And so in situations, right, where you want also to banish people, I think it's a pretty good little tech option. Definitely high roll, but it's not always very useful in certain matchups. I do think it's okay into Bonnie too, so it's not that bad. Obviously, this is the best card I want to see still.
Yep.
But it's still good. 3 Hoodie Jones. Given the amount of cycle, I think you will always get 1 Hoodie Jones when you really want him. And I hate to see this early. I only want to see this like towards the end where I'm going for lethal. So I still really, really like it. It's really good in Teach, of course, but I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this too early. The card that I do want to play on 8 Dawn is Kid. I chose to round this over Mihawk. I think a lot of people that play Carrot this set, especially, and Bonnie for reasons, right? Play Mihawk. There's better cases to play Mihawk in Bonnie because you have that insane leader ability of resting anything 1 Dawn, right? Carrot doesn't have that luxury. Like, sure, we can restand stuff with Zoe and swing just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the main draw I feel with Mihawk was that ability to get a little bit of a floating Dawn and then still play a bunch of blockers that makes it tough, right?
Yeah.
But I find this card to be very good into UP. It helped me win the UP matchup. I really like it into GP, and I think Kid is generally better as an option to GP, which I did see. And overall, right, what you can do when you go 8 Dawn, as long as you have Zoe, you know, no matter how much they blow up your stuff, like, you don't have to worry about Cavendish dying. You're always going to have this guy. There's no card to interact with the stage, you know?
Or not any card that anyone's playing today. I know there's the red event that pops it.
Oh, yeah, there is.
There's some cards, but...
I did actually get, a long time ago, I think there was an NL that runs that Ram guy that also bottoms in the stage.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, I didn't have to worry about that. So I felt as long as I got Zoe and then I got Kid later on, and then through the cycling, right, of getting what those pieces you need at the right time, this card came up quite often, and you need to see this on 8 Dawn.
Yeah.
Then final, my top end is Labepo. I'll go with the Mink first. So searchable Mink, right? Very good because you still have Wanda. Cool lines you can do, right? On 10 Dawn, if you have Zoe, and you even have a Milky or a Smoker, you could search with Wanda, find this guy.
Restand a Dawn.
Restand a Dawn. So now you're back at 10, right? Or you're back at 1. You can tuck a Dawn into the Carrot too, or in the Eustace Kid. So it's really cool that there's a lot of decks that again, like if you have Cavendish for Bonnie's instance, you're good. But sometimes you don't always have Cavendish, you don't have a Restander. And so similar boat, Zoe's like that. Final, the Dopies. Dopies is really good generically, I think. Good into Rayleigh, freezes their board. I ran 2 of these back to back against a Rayleigh player, and he never got to swing anymore. And I think that's the case for a lot of Bonnies. Like they like to see that too. Also very good into UP now that UP doesn't run their Restanders like the Katakuri.
Yeah.
And I essentially can take down most, I would say not the highest of high roll UPs, but I can beat a decent UP that sees stuff if I go second.
Yeah.
Just with this and with this, right?
Yeah. It's
and
pretty cool.
Hiding behind a Kid.
It's pretty cool. I saw you in your game with Nikki, round 8. I think you played Kid, and then you played like a Law and Beppo, and then restood Zoe, and then you attached it.
Yeah.
So it's really good. Like if you have these two and Zoe, you're basically never gonna die because you stun everything, and then they have to attack into the Kid with that last Dawn. Yeah.
And it's cool. Like even if they get through the Kid wall, like if they have other bodies they plan to swing with, I'm a 7K base leader too.
Yeah.
So it's just like really, really tanky.
Yeah.
So I love this card. I wouldn't change the ratios. I would say. I think the least performed card was probably Pedro's, but there's really not that many good Minks, honestly.
For sure.
These are very helpful in a Kid situation, right? Because they can be protected for the most part, and they're just chunk blockers.
Yeah.
But Pedro sometimes is like your best
4 Dawn play.
Yeah, 4 Dawn play.
And searchable, So we have like 10 blockers we can play off of the Kid, which is kind of broken.
Yeah. Especially this guy. This guy I want to see into GP for sure.
Yeah. Well.
Any questions on matchups?
So what do you think like the Carrot is favorable into like the top deck? So like Rayleigh is probably for sure favorable because you can rest your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
UP
is definitely not favorable, but it is winnable.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't know what to expect when you play a rogue leader, right?
Yeah.
So they might be worried and still take first, right? But I think going into it, this deck is built for going second. And until you against UP, right? It's not necessarily much of a race early on. If I can grab everything I need, protect myself under a Kid wall after taking life, and then chain 10 drops, you can get there. You can get there in those situations. And I find it more consistent than trying to just hody kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know? Because you got that going for you. It's not a bad line, right?
Yeah.
Like you still can play Zoe and always restand on. You can still have no P and just swing a little bit bigger than you would expect as a Bonnie.
Yeah.
And then just rely on Hodies. But I don't like that line as much. You're just like a few events away from losing, you know? Like
Yeah.
The UP Luffy can just wall up or defend well.
Yeah. How about into Bonnie?
Bonnie, I didn't get to play any Bonnies, but I feel really good with it because of this card. So as long as you have Zoe, you're essentially nullifying their leader ability.
Yeah, because you can withstand it, all of
yeah.
the guys that they rest.
Yeah, and so like Carrot is really, really important, right? I think Carrot helps me win that Cavendish War, and I'm like semi-starving him, and most of the times like he'll eventually give out on his hand size. Another thing about these guys is like even if they go sideways, right? Because they're a mink, they get restood, so their own Carrots can't do shit. So you're good there, right? They have to rely on Hodies, and you still have a bunch of counter and blockers, so I'm not too worried about that. Kid, I think, is a little bit better. I think I'm worried most about the Bonnies that run Zoro now.
Yeah.
Law Beppo helps a little bit with that because, you know, they'll play it out and then you can freeze it. They still have to allocate some Dawn to restand it, which is still okay. But it is definitely, you know, in some situations where they're predicting to play around Doflamingo, you can Law Beppo, and then Law Beppo is also a mink, right? So oftentimes, if you're going to play around Shanks, this guy just gets withstood.
Yeah.
And then any Shanks cards they have in hand is kind of just a dead card at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't think that matchup is actually that bad. I've had success with it, but I didn't get to play any on NATS, so I can't prove out my theory.
Yeah.
I do think for a green deck, it is one of those green decks that has a good shot against Blackbeard, unlike
Yeah.
Bonnie. So that might pique somebody's interest.
Yeah.
I did play a Blackbeard this NATS, and I felt very comfortable with that matchup.
Yeah. Definitely, you guys want to try this deck profile or deck out. It's pretty cheap to make, I think. Every card is pretty
yeah.
affordable.
Yeah. Yeah, these carrots,
yeah.
so cheap, man.
And he did a really good run, beat some top players that were in the top 32. I watched that game. It was, I think you were 7-1 or 6-1. It was round 8.
I was 7-1.
7-1, yeah. And then
and I lost
played
to
into
Kane,
Nikki.
and Kane was like,
Yeah.
you know, really
Bubbled out, yeah.
Yeah, just bubbled out.
So very close games and very strong deck. Thank you, Sean, for the deck profile. Hopefully we can see you again in another video.